a psychotic episode like this. And there are others who feel that only those who have a tendency to easy disorganization of the brain by their metabolism, that only they can get the psychotic trips. Because certainly when we analyze the underlying strife or conflicts that go on in a schizophrenic when they have recovered enough, that we find not too different a set of circumstances than what we find in the neurotic.
Parents strongly caution the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
To save the patient from what would otherwise be a severe neurotic The patient that you saw me walking with demonstrates on the 8th day after admission the continuing presence of a catatonic panic.
All right. Happy Wednesday night. Welcome to another episode of Sound Injection. We've got Brian with us from Knight's Edge. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
We are absolutely fantastic.
Doing great.
So, I'm gonna pick on somebody because normally I go first, but I'm not gonna go first. I'm gonna make Meg go first.
I knew it. All righty. What is your favorite board game?
I don't know. I don't play a whole lot of board games. I mean,
I stumped him.
I like chess. I'm not very good at it. I guess a more interesting one. Sometimes play this game Red Dragon Inn, which is like a fantasy game that has like drinking mechanics and stuff like that. Not really necessarily a drinking game, but that is like an in. I mean, you can drink while you're playing it. I usually do, but it's not like Kings or something like that. It is a board game, but I guess I'll go with that. That was probably the last one I played.
Okay, right on.
Fair enough. All right, CB, you're next.
If your band could create a billboard, what message would you have millions of people see every day?
Listen to our music.
Okay.
I mean,
that was kind of a given, bro.
Right.
I mean, is this? Am I like trying to give an uplifting message or like influence people to do something beyond? Please like and subscribe. You know,
Right.
Follow us.
please buy our product.
So, kind of give us a little bit of background on how long you guys have been a band and when you guys kind of first came together and started writing music.
So Knight's Edge started in, I think it was 2018. So a couple years before COVID. And we've gone through a few lineup changes. Our drummer, Dan, is on all of the music that we've recorded. So he joined pretty early, like maybe at least within the first year. So by 2019, he was in the band. And at that time, we had a bassist and a keyboardist who over time left and moved on to other things. And then our guitarist, Damien, we picked him up in 2023, I think. So we've been active since 2018. We've got 4 albums, one EP that's still out there, another EP that I've done my best to scrub from the face of the earth. Played a ton of shows. We haven't really toured yet, although that is in the pipeline for 26, I believe. But we've played all over the East Coast, from like Rochester to Norfolk, like Mid-Atlantic kind of area.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right, Man Bear, you're up.
Since you were just talking about where was your favorite show, or who was another band, one of your favorite bands you played with recently, if you have?
So there's a lot of bands that we really enjoy doing shows with. Local to Baltimore, we've got Siegebreaker, who's like a power thrash band that just started a couple years ago. But we've known those guys for a long time. Damien actually used to be a band with some of them. We've got down in Southern Maryland, there's some really cool music down there. You wouldn't think so, because there's not like a major city or anything. But the guys down there, guys and girls, have built a really poppin' kind of local scene down there, and some of the cool bands in there. We got Roachzilla, we got Maldire, Space Lumberjacks, who we've done shows with, and then friends of mine in Bastion's Wake, who are from Delaware. They just put out an album like last week, so that's super. I mean, so many. We played with a lot of great bands. Goblin Hovel up in Rochester. There's a ton.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
I apologize to anybody who I did not mention. That was most of you.
I mean, what you said, there's so many, right? So it's hard to name everybody. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah. All right, Meg, you're up.
So whenever you were learning to play your instrument, was it, at what point did you realize like you didn't want to do it as just like a whatever hobby? You like wanted to take it serious and make it into something?
So I'm going to answer that question in 2 parts. The first one's going to be the silly one. So bass is absolutely not my instrument. And the only reason I played is because we could not find a bass player. I started playing it like regularly maybe 2 years ago, and I still barely consider myself a bass player. I am the guy in the band who plays bass. But in terms of playing guitar and just playing music in general, probably sometime around high school or middle school, I really started to get into it. And in college, I was mostly doing cover stuff. And then afterwards, I got back into doing original music, in my early 20s. And I think as I was writing my own music, that was when I decided that, hey, I really want to like put the effort into getting some guys together, getting this recorded, going out and playing it, etc. So it was kind of a few steps in that trip.
Was it always metal, or did you explore other genres?
I still don't know if we're necessarily 100% metal. I think we kind of like really live on the edge between metal and hard rock. I don't know. And then we have all the symphonic stuff, so it's kind of hard to give a great genre, which is cool in some ways and also the bane of our existence in others. But yeah, it's always been some sort of hard rock or metal.
Okay.
All right, CB, you're up.
All right. So when you're feeling uninspired, how do you find your creativity?
So it kind of depends. I do different things. A lot of times if I need to write, I'll just force myself to write something. And usually that kind of just gets me going. But sometimes switching an instrument, like instead of writing on guitar, picking up the bass or writing something on keys, that'll do it. Generally, I don't really have a shortage of ideas. Like every 2 years, I usually have 10, 12 songs. And recently, since Damien joined the band, he's been contributing ideas too. And, if I'm stuck on something, I could be like, hey, give me a riff you've been working on. Then he'll send that to me. And then I'm just like, okay, let's do this with that.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. So going back, I'm sure you're probably around the same age as I am. Going back to Beavis and Butthead. What is the very first music video you ever remember seeing on Beavis and Butthead?
So I actually didn't watch a whole lot of Beavis and Butthead. Honestly, I do think that I think Mike Judge had moved on to King of the Hill by the time I was 10. I'm 32.
Okay, well, no, I got you by 10 years. Holy shit.
It's all good. It's all good. I get that sometimes.
Yeah, no, he Beavis and Butthead for most of the people around my age was a big thing. That was half the reason why I even got into music, was because I fell upon Beavis and Butthead one night, staying up after the parents went to bed and fucking getting on TV and watching shit I wasn't supposed to be watching, and fucking seeing the I think it was a music video for Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie. And then down the rabbit hole I fucking went. And then shortly after that discovered Motorhead. And seeing Lemmy is what made me want to be a bass player. And I didn't want to play anything else but the fucking bass, all because I wanted to be fucking Lemmy. Although I discovered really quickly I can't sing for shit and I sound like a cat in heat. So that's out the window really quick like. All right, man, Barry, you're up, brother.
Okay, I don't know if this is a hard question or not, but of your songs right now, what is your favorite Night's Edge song that you throw on like right now? Like you're just like, you know what, this one really worked out. I gotta listen to my song right now.
So if I'm just listening to it for myself, my favorite one is probably Adagina, which is the 8th song off the album we just put out. It definitely sounds pretty. I mean, all of our songs sound different from each other, but that one specifically has like a pretty doomy gothic vibe to it. And I'm a very big Type O fan. I love gothic metal in general. Not only just like, Type O and him and things of that ilk, but I also enjoy like some of the gothic doom stuff like My Dying Bride, Draconian. And even though that song doesn't really sound like any of those bands, it's inspired by that kind of, the combination of beauty and heaviness in a song. So usually if I'm going to listen right now, if I'm going to listen to something, it would be that. If I was recommending music to somebody, that would not be my first choice for somebody to start with.
Okay.
I've been just
Were you ever a big Hymn fan?
Excuse me?
Were you ever a big Hymn fan?
So I listened to him a bit in high school. I'm actually a bigger him fan now than I was then.
Okay.
I really like him. And as I got older, I got more into them than I was.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Meg, you're up.
What do you do to get yourself hyped up before a show? Do you have like a certain ritual, certain snack, certain drink?
So when we play shows, we're doing local shows or regional shows with always 3 or 4 other bands. So usually what I'm doing right before we play is scrambling ass to get everything set up, praying that we don't have a technical difficulty, which even we don't get them real bad, but even still, it happens to everybody. So prior to that, sometimes I'll do a little bit of vocal warm-ups, but honestly, like I just don't feel super normal doing vocal warm-ups standing in a bar. I think that's kind of weird.
No, usually I go around back and I'm walking in the street doing a vocal warm-up. Is that any better?
I just don't do it. I just accept that the first song is going to be iffy. It'll work itself out. Nobody can tell. But sometimes if I had more of like a controlled space to get warmed up, I would do vocal warm-ups. I would do bass runs. I would stretch, breathe, whatever. But usually I'm just trying to get ready, setting things up, making sure the merch is set and taken care of, sometimes working the door. Usually I'm working on something right before we play and then again right after.
DIY band jobs. Whew.
Yep. We are very DIY.
You got to do everything.
Everything.
It never stops.
I mean, our last album, I recorded and mixed it. So produced, recorded, mixed it, and send it out, somebody else master it. But like we do almost all of our recording. We've done most of our own mixing, and I think we're gonna continue to do that going forward. Yeah, like we pretty seriously DIY it.
I'm
When
sure
you
that
do-
saves you a ton of fucking money.
Oh
Yup.
my God. Yeah.
And it keeps you more connected to the music too. When you're doing more of it yourself, like you said, you're sending it out to get mastered, but it
Right.
keeps you more connected to the originals and how you wanted it to sound, right? You know, so if you have other people doing everything for you, it's going to change how that sound wanted to sound for you, right? If you're
It
doing
definitely
most of it
could.
yourself. Yeah.
I think in like an ideal situation where money was not an object, I would definitely prefer to have other people involved to help me out. Because honestly, I'm not a great producer. I'm not a great mixer. I can get it to sound like a rock song, a metal song. You know, it sounds all right. But you know, if money was not an object, I would love to work with people that can elevate it. But I think in terms of what is realistic that we could afford and we could pay is probably not going to be better than what I can do.
Fair
There's
enough.
no problem
Right.
with that either.
All right, CB, you're up, bro.
So tell us about a project that you've worked on with your band that's changed you more than you changed it.
That is a good question. I don't know if this would be a specific project, but kind of going back on the DIY stuff with mixing and producing and recording all of this music. It has just turned me into a person where I can work all day, go to the gym, come home, cook, whatever, and then go right back to work, go to sleep, do it over again and do it over again and do it over again and do it over again, you know, for months until it's done. You know, album cycle from starting recording to finishing sending out mixes, it's probably 6 months.
Mm.
I take breaks from kind of working like that for a while, but then it's time to write new music, and it's the same thing again because you know weekends are not always available. You have life commitments, we have shows, there's other things going on, so it has definitely made me pretty good at optimizing my time.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. So, as you've said before, you guys have played a ton of shows. What is the absolute worst thing that has happened to you playing a show?
I mean, the worst thing that's happened to us playing a show is just a show being empty.
Oh man,
I think
you're up good because we've gotten
Like,
some
you
wild.
saying?
You're one of the lucky ones because we've got a lot of wild fucking stories. We had some really good ones Monday night, but that's kind of a good thing if that's the worst thing that's happened to you in a show.
I'm just gonna have to agree with you on that one. If that's the worst thing that's happened to you, man, you're still doing pretty good. Because yeah, from the stories from Monday, they weren't that PG. If you want to put it that way. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
I'm trying to think if
sorry.
I'm trying to think if maybe I'm forgetting something. I mean, it would be either playing an empty show or just playing up. You know, every once in a while you have a shitty set and you finish and you're just like, man, I don't feel great about that.
Yeah.
So one of those.
That'll happen.
You're up.
Me?
You're up, man, bear.
So I don't know if this is a weird question or not, but do you find there's a better time of day when you're in the studio to record where you have less distractions? Like, are you like a 2 a.m. recording guy? Are you an 8 at night recording guy? Or you know what I mean? Like, do you find you get more work done at 2 a.m. or 8 p.m. at night?
I do it when I have time.
Yeah.
If I was able to, just have a free schedule, I think generally, not just for recording, but just in general, I usually feel the best around like lunchtime, around like noon or 1. That's just when I'm like the most alert, most awake.
Yeah.
So if I could, I would do that. But a lot of times it's 9 p.m. at night, got home from work and did the stuff I need to do around the house. Let's crank out a song and, go till 11:30 or whatever. Or
That's
it'll-
kind of why I asked the question too. Sorry, it's because my life changed where I was a person who was completely nocturnal, where I was up from midnight to 8 a.m. and slept all day. And then this past 6 months, my life completely flopped where 8, 9 o'clock at night's looking really late and I'm going to bed, to take care of the responsibilities. So like you said, it depends on your schedule and when you have time. So yeah.
Mhm.
All right, fair enough. All right, Meg, you're up.
Now it's my turn. So, in honor of Halloween, I want to ask a question that we were asking on last season at the end of it. Have you ever seen anything spooky? Have you ever had anything weird happen?
I mean, seen spooky things for sure. Anything supernatural? No, I'm not a supernatural guy. But yeah, I mean, I've been freaked out in my life a handful of times. I'm trying to think of when. I don't know, but none of them were necessarily spooky or supernatural, though.
Near-death experience?
Shoot. None that registered as such at the time. Maybe in hindsight, I'm looking back and it's just like, damn, I'm lucky to not have died. But at the time, it didn't feel like that. I don't know. I didn't really think too far into it.
Fair enough.
Oh, you're like Iceman, just chill. Just, nah. I make music. I live life.
Fair enough. All right, CB, you up.
If your younger self could see you today, what would you most be surprised about?
I think my younger self would be surprised that I was still doing music and had actually increased the intensity with which I work on it. Because I kind of, when I was younger, had it in my mind that like, this is not like a viable career. This is not a money thing. It's not, therefore it's not worth doing. And don't get me wrong, we don't make any money, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing.
Right.
So I kind of think that would be something that would surprise my younger self. And also kind of building off of that, if I could go back and like explain something to my younger self, that would probably be one of them.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, what band or artist has been the biggest influence on you with your music to date?
All right, I'm not going to give you one. I'm going to give you a couple.
Okay. Hey, that
But-
works.
So I think the one that you can most directly hear in our music is Coheed and Cambria. I love Coheed. I think that comes through pretty clear in a lot of our music. We have a lot of like little bits of prog influence. There's some post-hardcore in there. That's Coheed. All the gothic and doomy stuff comes from a lot of bands, but my favorite of all of those, and probably my favorite band overall, is Type O. I love Type O Negative. So I think that a lot of our music kind of would land on a spectrum somewhere between those two bands, but those two bands are so different that that's just a huge spectrum. And then other ones would be like Nine Inch Nails, Tool, Avenged Sevenfold, and then getting into the heavier stuff. Like, I don't know if this would necessarily be a audible influence, but Insomnium, My Dying Bride, Cradle of Filth, all of those things, and a lot of the kind of European music that really focuses on symphonics and synthesizers mixed with kind of like a American rock attitude.
All right, fair enough. All right, man, Bear, you're up.
Okay, just give me a minute. All right, I'm gonna ask a weird question. Favorite
Okay.
Super Nintendo game if you played Super Nintendo? That's what I'm going with. Favorite Super Nintendo game. Let's go.
I've played Super Nintendo, I'm sure, at some point in my life, but I can't specifically remember. And I don't know, was Contra on that
Yeah,
system?
there was
Okay.
Contra 1, 2, and 3 on Super Nintendo actually.
Okay,
so
I'll go
that's
with
a good
Contra.
answer.
I'll go with Contra. So I remember playing Contra when I was very, very young. I had we had a daycare that I think got a Nintendo.
Yeah.
Is that how I ended up playing that? I think so.
I love me some Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt was awesome.
So here's
Oh,
a secret
yeah.
about Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt, did you know that the second player controller actually controlled the ducks?
Yep.
No.
Yep. Yes, go back and play Duck Hunt. Hook up the second player controller. You can fly the ducks around.
What?
That's a whole
did
new
not
layer
know
for
that.
sure.
Of course, I was playing it when I was like, I don't know, 5.
Oh, when I was young, and I got so mad I broke the gun so many times throwing that damn thing across the fucking room.
So I got a quick story about Duck Hunt too. My great grandpa was sitting in my living room and we said, "Hey, we got this new game, Duck Hunt." He's like, "I'm a hunter from the old country. Let me try." He's sitting 20 feet away, hitting every single duck, no problem, every claymore. I was like, "No way, man!" Like I was
Wow.
like, "You're 80." He beat all our records, and we haven't beat them.
That's
Damn,
amazing.
Grandpa.
I just hated that fucking dog. I wanted to fucking punch it in the face every time I seen it. I'm so
Man.
pissed.
We
Alright,
need a game where it's dog hunt, where it's the ducks going after the freaking dog. You got the duck.
Yeah, let them have their day. They get some revenge.
all right, Meg, you're up.
What is the best part about being in a band?
Writing music that you feel proud of, I think is probably my best one. And for the music that we make music that we want to listen to. So I think making something that, you know, if I make something that I listen back to and I'm like, man, that's a song that I really like.
All right. Oh,
Oh,
I think we lost you.
That's the really
Okay.
good live performance.
Just caught up.
All right, perfect. All right, CB, you're up, brother.
So, in the music industry, tell us about a belief that you had going into it that you had to unlearn.
I think going in, I thought that success was not entirely, but was extremely predicated on luck. And while I think that is still true, I think luck plays a big part in it. I think that there's more to it than that, where you have to take opportunities and attempt things to basically take more chances so that you have more opportunities to be lucky. Obviously, you know, I'm not sitting in a mansion or having a record deal or anything, so I don't know if that advice is really worth anything. But that's kind of the way that I look at it, is that if you're going to get lucky, you have to improve all of your chances as much as you can to try and get there.
Okay.
And I think this is a second one. This is one that I'm starting to see a little bit more recently. I think that there are some people in the music industry who, I guess I kind of went in, especially with metal, kind of thinking that, like, you know, people play what they really want to play. Like, they're really making the music that they want to do. And I think now that I've been here a little bit longer, I've, you know, seen a few examples in the industry and also in people that I know at a distance, not like people that I regularly interact with, but that there are definitely some people who just want to be famous or just want to make it. And it doesn't really matter what that vehicle is in terms of the music.
Okay, fair enough. So up to this point, what is your proudest moment for the band as of right now?
Our last album. Our last album's our best work. I think that in terms of just putting together a quality piece of music, that's our biggest accomplishment. We've had, like, our previous music is good as well. Like, I still like our previous music, but I definitely think that the album we just put out, which is called The World That Never Was, is the best thing that we've done.
All right, fantastic. All right, Man Bear, you up?
You were saying you haven't had the opportunity to go touring yet. If you got the opportunity to go touring tomorrow, would you drop everything and start touring to try to make being a band your full-time job? And what would you have to do to get that done? I'm just saying, if you had the opportunity tomorrow, like, hey, the money's there, the van's there, the bus is there, let's go. Would you do it?
If the money was there, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's kind of, like, I've thought about that. Kind of the deal for that straight up is just that, you know, I've been working in my career for 10 years now. I've got a house. I'm married. Like, I'm pretty set up. Like, I have a pretty stable life. and I'm not going to throw that away to, be poor and, be a starving artist and live in a van. Like, it's just not happening. If I was 22, I would be much more likely to take a shot on that, but I'm not. So that's not something that we're looking to do. We're not looking to quit our jobs, buy a van, and,
Yeah.
just force a tour and play
Yeah.
little places, etc., as opposed to, staying in our lives right now with our partners and our jobs and our homes, etc. But in your hypothetical, like, if the money was there and it was taken care of, and I know that I could still support my lifestyle by living that life, then yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Fair enough. All right, Meg.
How do you so you do most of the writing, or
Yeah, I do most of the writing.
so whenever you're writing, how do you know when a song is finished? What's your cue?
So I kind of write music in a couple of rounds. So I'll demo out a song with, program some drums, lay down guitar, bass, vocals, and some keys. And then, I'll bring it to the band. They'll learn it. We'll play it together. We'll tweak things and change things, and they'll have their own takes on certain stuff. And we'll sit on it for like 6 months before we go to record it. And in that 6 months, things may change, things may come around. And then usually when we go to record it, I'll add, a few more bells and whistles that I've thought about listening to that song for 6 months and playing it for 6 months, which might be other additional synth layers, some vocal harmonies, little lead guitar stuff, or the Damien would add that. And usually after kind of what I would consider like that third round of workshopping, it's done.
Okay, it's very structured.
I mean, it's not like set out to. I don't set out like where it's like, oh, well, this song's still in phase one. We can't, it just kind of happens to work out that way.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, CB, you're up, bro.
What is something that you normally have to explain or teach to other people in your band?
You mean like the other band members? Like in my, okay, things I have to explain or teach to them. I guess maybe like where some of the lyrics are going with the songs, or we're working on them together. Sometimes like showing them something in how I play it, or working things out like that. But I don't necessarily think that I think that we generally have a pretty good understanding of each other, where none of us is left like super behind on something where it's like, oh, we got to catch him up because he's out in the field. We just don't really have that problem too much.
Okay.
Fantastic. So with the use of AI becoming a bigger and bigger thing, what is your take on the use of it in the music industry?
So using AI in general for artistic endeavors, if hating AI was a sport, I would be Michael Jordan. Like that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And also, just here's kind of my take on the music stuff. Anybody who chooses to listen to a song made by AI is somebody who doesn't give a shit about music anyways and just has bad taste. Because yeah, I was like, I need to figure out what this sounds like. It sucks.
Fair enough.
Like, I mean, at this point, I'm not worried about it because, if people want to listen to shitty music, I don't want them to listen to my music anyways. And AI at this point is just nowhere close to being able to write something that's interesting because it has no artistic intent. Like, AI doesn't mean to do anything.
Right.
Whereas an artist does.
Correct. All right. Good point. All right, Man Bear, you're up.
As we come on the close or getting closer to the end of 2025, do you and your bands have any goals for 2026? Anything you want to achieve or get a number of albums out, or have you been thinking about it at all? Or
Yeah, for sure. So we are working on doing a short tour
Mhm.
in 2026. Not going to be a super long one. Not going to go super far, but I mean, going to probably do 10 dates in 10 days is the goal. I think that's probably enough to call it a little tour. So we're going to do that and write and hopefully start recording album number 5. So basically, just right back at it. Kind of the goal is every 2 years, put out some
That's a good
music.
goal. That seems to be a good plan for you guys, since like you said, you already have a normal busy life and you guys are stable. Every 2 years gives you enough time to figure everything out. And 10 days and 10 days, that sounds good. That is a small tour, and yeah, I really hope that works out for you guys. That sounds great, man.
Yeah, I think it'll go well. We have a friend from another local band who's taking a crack at booking a tour for a band other than his own. So, and he's been good to work with so far. So I'm optimistic.
Perfect. All right, Meg.
How did the first performance for Night's Edge go? Very first one. Was it stressful, or did it actually just all work out perfect?
So I don't really remember a whole lot about it. So that was a long time ago. We used to perform with glowing face paint on because I was just like, man,
wow.
we need a fucking gimmick. Like this will look great on Instagram. And it did. It did look good on Instagram. But over time, it just kind of got to the point where it's like, what does this have to do at all with the music? It had nothing to do with the songs. And also the 2 guys with the best face paint ended up leaving the band. So anyways, our first show, we're all in face paint. We had our very first drummer in the band at that time, and he was not in the band for very long. We had our old bassist and our old keyboardist, and we were playing, I think only one of the songs we played is a song that we still play today. So it was all off the first album, which I kind of partially disown, although it is still out there. And we played at Autobar. I played at the Autobar in Baltimore. And I remember it being like pretty good.
Good.
I smashed my bass cab to smithereens my very first show.
Well, I have a Helix, so it doesn't look as cool when you just destroy, a little pedal board as opposed to a guitar amp.
Oh, it wasn't by choice. it was before we even started the show. And I had to borrow another cab from one of my other buddies in another band playing with us because I got nervous and I wasn't paying attention. And we brought it on like vehicles because we didn't have a van or anything. And my shit was on wheels and it wheeled right out the back and fell and slammed on the ground and just busted apart. It was done.
Oof, that does suck.
Gone. Yep. Done. All right, CB. You're up, bro.
In your opinion, what is the most professional trait that a band can have?
So, I mean, I don't know if I would consider these the most professional, but I would consider them like almost hygiene factors, like shit that you just got to have. You have to answer messages on every major form of social media that you're on. So it's like if your Instagram says DM us for bookings, like you have to check your message requests. I mean, a million times I've like messaged people to be like, hey, you want to be on a show? And I never hear back from them. I know because my message is sitting in the fucking message request folder. Got to be on time for everything. Here's a big one. I think this is a good one. Stick to your set time and get on and off stage in a reasonable amount of time. Like, it drives me nuts when people go over or take too long to break down. Collaborate with the gear share, be a team player. Like all of those things, I think. Thank God I'm not a promoter or a booker. But if I was, those would be stuff where it's like, if you can't do this, just don't come.
Right. So at this point, what is the hardest thing that you've had to learn while being an adult?
So I haven't learned this yet, but if I ever do learn it, it will be how to actually successfully use social media. Because clearly, getting viral on TikTok or on Instagram or getting engagement through all that stuff, like clearly that is, such a great avenue for building a following, it seems. Like on the other hand, I can't really think of any bands that I found just from Instagram or TikTok that I actually actively listen to. But I understand that I am not necessarily I'm not representative of the younger people who are on those apps. But I'm still trying to figure that out, how to leverage that better. Like we're super active on everything, but man, our engagement sucks.
It's so weird with the engagement thing. Like with the engagement thing, it's almost like a 50-50. Either it's really good or it's really bad. I really find it's never mediocre, you know? Like if you have 50,000 followers, do you know that your actual percentage of people who react is between 1% and 3%? Like I've actually done a
I have heard that.
Oh yeah. So if you got 10 million followers, you might have, 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 people reply, but you're not going to have 1 million people normally reply. I've done studies over this over years. And it's very hard, like you said, even with the TikTok and everything, it's very hard to have anything go viral. And the things that do go viral, you're like, why did that go viral? You know what I mean? Like some of the things are like, wow, it's not just bands and this and that. It's like somebody did their hair really neat. There's this crazy curls and 2 million views because it's beautiful. And, and you're like, well, why can't I just do that? You know what I mean? I know exactly what you're saying. It's so hard to get into that viral point where everyone's like, oh my God, like I got to share this out and get it out there. It's so, you know what I mean?
So I think kind of going off of that, something that like kind of drives me nuts sometimes is that a lot of bands spend their time making goofy reels or basically content that just has nothing to do with the music. And I guess that it definitely does help. It doesn't matter why somebody knows your name as long as they know it. But at the same time, it's like, I don't care if you're funny. Is your music good? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect what you just said. Like you have to have some kind of professionalism, even if you're just making reels of your band. Make it about the music. Yeah, you can have funny little things in there, but if you want it to be about your music and you want to be taken seriously as a band who wants to get their music out there, don't make funny reels. Make music reels where we can hear you guys screaming. We can hear you guys slamming your guitars. We want to hear the music. The jokes are always going to be there. The funny stuff is always there. Your band's coming out and promoting your music. It's different. It's great. Get that music out there. The funny stuff comes after, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, we do some goofy stuff on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, etc. But usually we really try and keep it either like directly related to something about practice or something like that, or it'll be like literally this just happened, and then we share it. Something that we just put out the first one, but we've got a handful recorded. We got to make the rest, but we're going to do this like series of Instagram, TikTok reels where it's Night's Edge poorly explained. So we're going to do like a 60-second, and we just put out the first one like a couple days ago. So it's out there for our song Overdue for Destruction, but it's like we do a 60-second skit that is like a shitty explanation of some facet of the song. Most of them are going to be lyrically related. Some of them might be something about the music, but it's like a stupid, like Adult Swim kind of commercial vibe kind of thing. But then the idea is that hopefully we hit the funnies while also still keeping it at least somewhat related to the song.
That's a really creative approach. I really like that.
Thank you.
I like that you said you were keeping it to like a minute too, because I find that when I'm scrolling on Facebook and if there's reels that are more than like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I'm sorry, I'm not watching a 2.5, 3 minute reel. That for me, that's a long time. A minute reel, get your point out there, funny music, that's perfect. Yeah.
I figured a minute's about long enough.
Attention span.
Yeah. So quick plug for the little reel TikTok series we're doing. First one came out on Monday. We're gonna do one every week until we run out of songs.
Oh yeah.
Consistency is key in almost every industry, and especially music. You got to keep going. And like you said, you're not good with social media. It sounds like you're getting a lot better. I'd say just keep at it and be consistent.
I mean, I'm definitely consistent. I don't have necessarily a posting schedule, but I always post to TikTok at least once a week, YouTube short once a week, Instagram usually twice a week, and I stay on Facebook 2-3 times a week. It's easier when we have more going on. It's a little slow right now. But just, I guess, have yet to find the audience. But
All right, man, Bear.
All right, simple question. Any plans for Halloween? And if you have children, do you go trick or treating with them?
no kids, and all three of us are going to. It was our old bassist, who used to play bass in Night's Edge, Tim. We're all going to a Halloween party at his house. So
That's
Woo!
dope.
it's going to be a bunch of the music scene. It's going to be probably going to be a lot of these. It's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah.
That's
Fair
great.
enough. Fair enough. All right, Meg, you're up.
What do you want people to feel whenever they hear your music for the first time?
So I guess with each song, there's kind of different vibes that I go for, but I guess more in terms of an overall, like a more physical expression of feeling. I would hope to have by the third chorus of a catchy song. I want people to start humming along, or to be able to catch a couple words and be able to sing along. For a heavy song, I want to see a little bit of headbanging or foot tapping or something. Like, I just want to see people, move in such a way or react in such a way where you can tell that they're feeling the music. Because the emotions that people might get from music, somebody might look at a song and interpret it very different from how I intended it.
Mhm.
And like, whatever, as long as you like it, like if that sad song makes you happy, or if that happy song makes you sad, we don't have a lot of those, but if we did, cool. I just wanted to make you feel something.
Fair enough. All right, CB, you up.
So, who or what has been your greatest mentor in life?
I mean, in a life way, it's it's my parents, mom, my dad, but
Okay.
let's not go super deep into life mentorship. We'll do music stuff. I've had a couple of pretty big musical mentors over the years, especially when I was young. One guitar teacher, a guy named Nick. He wasn't my first guitar teacher, but he was really involved with a lot of the people that he taught. He was a really good teacher, really pushed me to get further into music, and started me on like recording and bands and stuff like that. And then even before him, back in elementary school, my music teacher in elementary school, Mr. Brown, was just, he was this old dude at a school down where I grew up in Southern Maryland. And man, he took being a music teacher really seriously. And yeah, I think that even at that age, like, kind of his passion for it started getting mine going.
Good.
Fair enough. So, if you could choose any musical icon, dead or alive, to spend 24 hours with and get every bit of knowledge that they have of the music industry, who would you choose and why?
So Trent Reznor.
It's a good.
I love Nine Inch Nails. I think Trent Reznor is one of the best songwriters, composers, producers. Like the man's just, everything he touches is great. They're killer live. And he really seems like a guy who is thoughtful, intelligent, and has figured out not only the music industry, but has spent a lot of time figuring out himself. And I think that he would just be a pretty insightful person to talk to.
All right, fair enough. I agree with you on there. That's definitely one of my top 5 that I would want to spend my time with. My main one would be Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Would be Rob Zombie. That guy's been around forever and done so much different shit, from film to music to television miniseries and everything else that he's done. That guy's got to be a fucking mountain of knowledge with everything.
Yeah, no, that's a good one too.
Especially for a guy who can move around on stage like he can at his fucking age. I don't know
Bro.
what the hell is his workout.
His hips do not lie.
Well, he's like super. Isn't he like super duper healthy?
Yeah,
Like him and his
Yeah.
wife are super into clean eating, and he's been
Yeah.
sober for a gazillion years and all that stuff.
yeah.
It shows.
Yeah,
He outperforms. We went to Welcome to Rockville earlier this year, and he outperformed several bands at his ripe age. Like,
I would love to see him live. I heard that he's awesome.
It's amazing. I've seen him live probably 7 or 8 times, and it never disappoints. Out of like all my guys that I love, he's the one that I have never been disappointed seeing live ever.
Yeah, I'll have to check him out at some point. On the Trent Reznor, we did just see Nine Inch Nails a couple of months ago, and they were phenomenal.
They're on my bucket list. I've
They're
never got.
phenomenal.
I want to see them so bad, and like I keep hoping that they're going to end up on like Welcome to Rockville or some festival, and it never fucking happens. I'm like,
you never know because they just put out that Tron album, so I could see him doing some festivals.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, Welcome to Rockville. I got my tickets. They haven't announced them all yet. Please be Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, I'd be stoked for them to get announced for Wacken. That's where so we go over to Germany and go to Wacken.
Awesome.
How is that?
Sick. I mean, unless it rains, which it does about half the time. It's still sick, but then it's not the rain that's so bad. It's that the whole place turns into like a foot of mud.
Mud. Yeah.
Very muddy, but it is still awesome. So my wife and I have friends from Baltimore who introduced us to it. And in years prior that they had made friends with the German family who now we're friends with. We all camp together. It's awesome. It's real cool.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, man, Bear, you're up.
All right, that actually like kind of leads into my question. What's your favorite vacation? Camping, skiing, anything like that? I don't know.
It's going to Europe. Going to Wacken.
Yeah.
And doing the pre-party in Hamburg.
Right.
Hamburg's a major German city, very close to where they have Wacken. And at the metal bar called Nightlight in Hamburg, for days leading up to the festival, and a couple of days afterwards, it's just partying all the time. And beer's like €3, which is pretty sweet.
That's cool. Cheap beer, you can't go wrong, right? I mean, come on.
It's not bad either. Like, it's pretty decent beer.
I mean, that's better than the fucking $17 a beer it is at Welcome to Rockville.
Oh, well, hold up. This is at the pre-party. At Wacken, the beer is €6, which is still not bad.
Yeah, that's
not
still
bad. Yeah.
When we went to Welcome to Rockville, by the time I bought 2 beers, I could have bought a 24 case at the fucking gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, Meg, you're up.
That's what it is. What is your favorite guilty pleasure food, or like a treat, or like what's something you like to indulge in?
I mean, I like chocolate. I don't eat it very often, but I do love chocolate. Stuff that I eat.
What kind of chocolate?
Mostly brownies. I really like brownies. Okay. I don't eat them very often, very rare, but I do love them. So that's one of them.
Fair enough.
Something I do indulge in more. I just like, and I only do it every once or twice, once every 1 or 2 weeks. It's just get like Chinese or Indian food, or some sort of halal food or Mediterranean food. It's not only the food itself; it's also just like I don't have to cook.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of work feeding ourselves.
Stand 100%.
Yeah.
All right, CB, you get the last question of the night before we get into talking about the music video that we're going to play.
So, what is your favorite fan interaction that you've had?
Ooh, okay. This actually, I think, is a pretty easy one. We played a show at a venue called The Garage maybe 6 to 9 months ago, and we never bring paper to shows. So we end up having to write our set lists on either paper towels or toilet paper. If the venue has paper towels, then it's a nice venue. This venue only had toilet paper. So anyways, we write our set list on it, and we play our set, and then we still have the toilet paper set list floating around somewheres. And this girl comes up, and she asks for it, and she's like, I'm going to take it home and frame it. And then a couple weeks later, she tagged us an Instagram story. It is our toilet paper set framed on her wall. I was like, fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. If y'all hit Rich and Famous, she's going to turn around and sell that shit for like $2,000 on eBay.
Man, I hope so. I hope she gets the chance.
All right, so the music video that we've got up for y'all is If You Loved Me. So do you kind of want to go into the process of what that song is about and what went into creating the music video for it?
So the whole album really deals with ideas of losing your own self-identity into other things. And this song is about losing your own self-identity into like a romantic partner who is willing to take advantage of that. So a lot of the lyrics are like, you know, if you really loved me, you would give up your dreams. If you really loved me, you would do this. If you really loved me, you know, you would fall with me as I fall into bad patterns and bad behavior. So that's kind of the concept of the song overall. And there's a little bit of like, there's perspective shifts where like the verses from one perspective, of course, from another, etc., stuff like that. The video itself just pretty much a straight performance video. We all got dressed up because we did a photo shoot all dressed up. And really that's kind of the extent of us being dressed up. It really wasn't thought out a whole lot more than that. We filmed that in it was an indoor horse arena. And it was January, so it was fucking cold. So the breath that you can see is legit.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Oh hell no. So on that, we are going to get into their music video, If You Love Me. Please make sure to join us on Friday for the Halloween special. We're interviewing Decay, and for everybody who throws us stars during that podcast is going to be entered in a raffle that we're going to pull a name out of the pot at the end of it, and you will get 2 tickets to Vans Warped Tour in Orlando, along with a locker the entire time. So
these are VIP tickets.
Yeah, so please make sure that you're on that show on Friday. Please throw some stars. You'll get entered in that raffle, and at the end, your ass might be going to Vans Warped Tour VIP in Orlando, Florida. Of course, you got to pay for all your other shit, but you get the tickets in the locker. So that's a big plus. Anyways, on that, here is If You Love Me. And on that, we are out of here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Brian. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a fun time. It's been a good interview. Appreciate it.
See y'all on Friday.
For my life, she asked me for my courage. I put it in her hands. She put my dreams in a cage. She fashioned chains on spine around her neck and called my swing. If you abandon me, you rip the chair from my feet. Please don't leave me. If you walk across the water. If you love me, you would stay and watch me suffer. If you love me, you would follow as I fall. If you love me at all, no words to change your mind. Forced to watch a slow decline. It's just guilt or anger, I'm not sure. Oh, our reflection, we're trapped inside. She'll smash this mirror and take our lives together or die. If you love me, you would walk across the water. If you love me, you would stay and watch me suffer. If you love me, you would follow as I fall. If you love me at all. Difficult to love, but I'm the only one. The best you'll ever get.